Hey beauties, welcome back to the Meta Beauty channel. It's Abby, if you didn't know, now you know. And today I have this tutorial on how I slayed this frontal and customized it to make it look so natural, you guys. Like scalp, okay, stiff wear, okay, like y'all. And it's so simple, it's really easy. It took like 30 minutes tops to do. Quick, easy technique. If I could do it, then you definitely can. So if you want to see how I got this look, keep watching. Yeah. So starting with a wet frontal, you always want to make sure you start with either a wet or a damp frontal because it's very important to see what you're doing when you're plucking the frontal, and the only way that you can really do that is when the hair is wet. So just make sure you do that. And comb through the hair to get rid of any kinks or like knots or anything like that, and placing a setting foam to keep the hair in place because plucking can get really messy. So this just keeps everything in place and in order, and you want to do the same thing when you bring the baby hairs to the front. You just bring them out and then lay them down with the setting foam as well. When you are bringing the baby hairs down, just make sure you're being very generous with the amount that you do. You don't want it to be too thick because you want it to be natural, so make sure that it's like a thin layer. And so now you just kind of want to go ham with the plucking. I don't really have a specific technique when it comes to plucking, honestly. I just make sure I don't stay in one place at one time, because when you stay in one place at one time, you tend to overpluck. So as you can see, I'm kind of going up and then down, and then up and then down, and then up and then down, and then up and then down. It's not really staying in one particular area at once. I just feel like this gives you the most natural looking hairline. You don't overplug, everything looks even. So yeah, just make sure when you're plucking, you're not staying in one place because you want you want to make sure that you don't overplug. You also want to make sure that you're moving towards the back of the frontal as you are doing the up and down method, because you don't want like a large mass of hair behind a thin hairline. You kind of all want it to be like a gradient effect. So just moving backwards with the tweezers as well will really help get you that natural look that you want whenever dealing with the frontal. So this is what the hair looked like plucked, and this is what it looked like before. It actually wasn't even that thick before, honestly. It kind of looked natural even before I started plucking. I really liked this frontal. But yeah, I just do the same thing for the middle section and for the opposite section that I was working on. I do work in sections, I forgot to mention that before, but it's just very important to do that so that you can kind of target specific areas. I don't even really know if you can like pluck without doing it in sections. I don't know, it's probably possible, but I don't do that. So once you have plucked the hairline to your desire, you can put the actual lace on your head, or the wig, whatever it is that you have. I just like this technique better because it's easier to see what you're doing and what fits your hair and your hairline better when it's on your actual head than a mannequin, because none of our heads are shaped like a mannequin, and none of our hairlines are like the shape of a mannequin perfectly. So it's just easier when it's actually on your forehead. You can see, all right, bet this is the section that I wanted, and this is the length that I wanted to swoop to the right or to the left, just things like that. Those all matter, and it's just easiest to see when it's on your actual head. So that's just what I do, and I'm just cutting it in the sections that I want. You can see I don't do it all the way across. Like I leave couple of spaces here and there just to give it a realistic look, so you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. And I also do not cut the hair too short, because you want to leave room for error. I like to actually get the perfect length when the hair is actually installed, and you'll see what I'm talking about later. So yeah, just cut it, but don't like OD it. Just leave enough room for error, because I'd rather you have long hair that can be cut than short hair that you can't really fix. So once you're done with that step, you want to put the hair back on the mannequin, and of course you're going to use the setting foam to push all of the hair back, including the baby hair, because now we are going to cut the lace and you don't want any hair in the front. I also find it easier to do this step when using a scrunchie because it kind of pulls the hair back, which allows you to see the actual hairline better. And just now I'm following the natural hairline of the frontal, so just cut along it. You want to make sure that you get really close to the hair, not to the point where you're cutting it off, of course, but just so that you don't have like a bunch of lace in the front of your frontal. So I didn't bleach the knots in this wig because it was given to me pre-made and I just felt like that would have been a lot. So I just took my face powder and applied it all over the lace to match my skin. And so now you can see that the hairline looks very natural. The baby hair isn't too, flat, nothing like that. And of course, like I said, once you actually install it with the got to be glue, you can then, cut the baby hair even smaller than what you want it to be, or shorter, or anything like that. Just to your preference. It's your head, it's your hairline, so just make sure that it's what you like.